Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about why I got married at age 20. So in this video I'll be talking a bit about the discernment process, some of the things that helped us come to the decision that we were ready to get married, and kind of why that is. So first of all, I think the main reason is because I loved him, and that's really important. But among many other things, there were some important aspects that made me realize that this is someone I want to marry, and there's no point just waiting around at this point. So some of those things were from the very beginning. We were very intentional on our first date. I asked him a lot of questions that were really important to me, some of my non-negotiables, things like, is he Catholic? Does he love his faith? And he really does. I could tell that he was a man of God, so that was awesome. And different things like, is he pro-life? And for me, working at Family Life International, and it's also something I'm very passionate about personally, it just made so much sense that I would find someone who can help me with that. And during that time, we were doing 40 Days for Life. And so to have him involved with that and help me gather other young people to participate in 40 Days for Life was really, really cool. So I'm kind of glad I got that out of the way at the beginning. And it doesn't work like that for everyone, and that's okay. That's just the way I work. And luckily Craig was all good with being bombarded with those questions. But I reckon even if you don't do it on the first date, like the first few weeks of dating, definitely get those important questions out there, things that are really important to you and non-negotiables. And then like throughout the dating process, even though marriage was on our minds a little bit, we were just getting to know each other as friends. We hung out in group settings, and he visited my family quite a lot. I visited his family quite a lot, and it was just nice to get to know, how does he interact with his parents? How do I interact with my parents and our siblings and things like that? So it was really all important in leading up to that final decision if we wanted to get married or not. Like right from the beginning, even before we went on our first date, when he was just dropping me home that one time after an event, I could just tell that he was a man of God and that he was really good husband and father material. Something that I think girls should know is that I feel like we have that gut feeling about a guy, if they're a good guy or not. Are they good husband and father material? You kind of know that up front. Even if you don't know them super well, you should kind of have a gut feeling. And so it's kind of cool to know that my first gut feeling was that, and then we kind of fell in love and became better friends after that gut feeling, which is interesting. It's not the way that it often goes, but for me that's how it went. Another thing that we discerned was how we deal with arguments, especially if you're going to be married for like your entire life. You need to know how to deal with those important arguments. And even though we only dated for a few years, we did have a few major arguments, and we dealt with those really well. The way I look back on, I'm really glad that we worked through them the way we did. So we spent time in prayer, and we kind of mixed up different ways of dealing with it. So sometimes we'd deal with it up front, sometimes we needed some space, things like that, working out how is best for the other person to feel loved at that time, while also getting your feelings across. So it was really awesome, and looking back, I'm so glad we dealt with those arguments then, and going into marriage, those are all behind us, which is really awesome. But they've also helped form who we are today. And then another aspect towards, I'd say like my final year of uni, and we'd been dating for a few years then, we started re-talking about it a little bit more, about marriage. Before then it was a little bit more on the back burner because we were getting to know each other and becoming good friends and falling in love and all of that good stuff. And then we knew that we wanted to take each other seriously, and we started talking about marriage again a bit more. And so that's when things like starting to go to marriage prep to further that discernment came up. We actually asked our parish priest at the beginning of my final year of uni, so beginning of last year, 2022, and because of different reasons it didn't quite work out to be the time that we wanted to do the marriage prep, but we ended up doing it about halfway through the year. So by the time Craig did propose, I think we'd done a couple weeks of marriage prep, but we had planned to do marriage prep and then discern it further and then get engaged. But it just happened that we had a bit more time to discern it on our own, which in some ways was really good, and we learned a lot over like that 6-month period from when we first started retaking the idea of marriage seriously and properly discerning it in prayer. We also took into consideration how our like close friends and families felt. Like, it was really important to me that we had people around us that also supported us, because I think your close friends, like really good close friends, people you trust, and people like your family, they know you really well, and so it's important to see how do they feel about this person and all of that. So it was really awesome to talk to them and know that they thought he was a good guy as well. A lot of people were mutual friends, and so it was really nice going into marriage knowing that we had lots of family and friends supporting and surrounding us. Another really big deal for me was that Craig made me a better person, and I felt like he was drawing me closer to God. And I think throughout those few years you can really get an idea of if this person is leading you closer to God or not, and how do we deal with those situations where maybe we fall into sin in our personal lives or maybe even together. And so it was really important and really incredible for me to see just how we moved past those things and how we encouraged each other to go to confession, to pray more often, and he just made me someone who actually drew closer to God. I feel like I gained a better friendship with God over those few years than I had before, and I could see that going into the future, into our married life, that he would also draw me closer to heaven and closer to God. So that was a really big factor for me as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a bit about why I got married at age 20 and some of the things that helped us discern that along the way, and I hope it was helpful for you guys. So thank you for watching and have a nice